investors, when I have conversations with investors, usually we tend to talk about internet business models as if they were somehow in their own space and somehow different from other industries, like more traditional manufacturing or other service type businesses. To me, it looks as if, in fact, what you're doing is a traditional business in a disruptive way because of the power of the technology. At the end of the day, technology is a tool that makes your business model possible. But the rules about creating value and delivering value, the fundamental principles, are still the same. Yeah. But in some way, you're actually able to deliver on them and make them work because of the technology we now have.
The biggest aha moment that I've had over the last 5 years was Kevin Kelly and the book What Technology Wants. The aha moment that I got out of that was this idea that the state of humankind today is and its relationship to information technology and technology comes from the Big Bang. That if you understand the whole notion of evolution, right? We started with the Big Bang, came through to creation of stars and planets, and then we had our solar system, and then we had the Goldilocks zone, and then Earth, and then the development of life, and then the development of sentient life. And then that sentient life was essentially going to mean that there would be one clear winner, one species that was going to dominate over everybody else. And that species was going to essentially evolve as a result of technological developments. The first technology being speech and language, because with language you now have the opportunity to share ideas, whereas previously we were operating as intellectual silos. So you start to exchange ideas, then you've got natural opportunities for growth. And then beyond that, you've got technologies such as writing, and then you had the printing press, and then you had computers, and then you had PCs, and then you had networked computers, and then you had the thing called the internet. And so if you think about where we are going as a species and the use of technology that we have, and Kevin Kelly talks about something called the technium, and the technium describes the total technological experience that humans have. If we were to lose all of our historical technological developments, what we have, we were to lose it overnight, we would perish as a species. We would get, we'd freeze to death, we wouldn't be able to eat, the viruses would get us and all the rest of that stuff. So we've mastered technology to the point that the technium is what we are, it's who we are. And then you understand, we've cracked the DNA code now, and now you can fuse the biological with the physical. And while all this is going on, we've built this huge platform called the internet, which is this big, huge computing machine. And we're increasingly, as a species, plugged into that computing machine. And if you know that you're plugged into that computing machine, and you as an individual are going to that computing machine looking for whatever it is that you need in order to progress yourself as humans, then what you can do is you can create a proposition on that huge machine, and like we did in our instance, we publish to that, we anticipate what people's questions are, and because we know what those questions are going to be, we can provide answers, and we create those relationships. And so essentially what you've got is this huge machine that we're all evolutionarily destined to become a part of in one way or another. And right now, 25 years after the advent of the internet, there are wide open opportunities to go into a particular niche, understand the psychology of human beings, that they've got an interest in the material in that niche, and then address the concerns and questions and problems that the human beings have in those particular niches. And then as Tapsot says, disaggregate and reaggregate value, do things, do new and interesting things that have always been done traditionally in an old way. So I think to look as internet separate from real business is to misunderstand the nature of what's really happening. We now live in a connection economy, we don't live in an industrial economy. And the reason why the major corporations are just unable to really make changes to the way that they operate is because they don't have the internal wherewithal to appreciate what's going on and to reinvent themselves. I mean, the capital structure is not like that. Organizational structure is not like that. If you've been successful for 100 years or whatever amount of time your industry has been doing things in that particular way, you don't have the frame of reference to approach it in a new and interesting way. So as I said, Kevin Kelly really turned me on to this idea that the internet is this machine that we're all plugged into, and as Don Tapscott says, inevitably, it's just a matter of time, all businesses will necessarily be internet-based businesses. Doesn't matter what we want to do about that. The internet will play a major role.